Hello, my biddies. I'm here. Forgot to close that door. I don't like that door being open when I'm on for some reason. I don't even know why. How are you today? I'm well, I think. Not managing my time well. I don't know why. I've been taking my meds and everything. I know it's prescription meds. Probably should be on prescription ADD meds, to be honest, but never happened. Probably not gonna. Probably not gonna. I was on them for a while. Ritalin made me eye tick. I get tired when I get tired, my eye ticks. You might have seen it here before. I'm pretty sure I was doing it at least once. So I have nothing to report. Other than that, I'm still tired. I got enough sleep last night, but I had weird dreams. I can't remember, but everybody was flat. That's all I remember. Was that everyone was two dimensional, and I don't know what they were doing. I don't remember what they were doing, but they were all two dimensional. Okay, I have a Cliff Notes version of Plathville for you because it's boring. It was boring. So Reality Roundup, welcome to Plathville Season 8, Episode 5, High Hopes. Cliff Notes version. Barry works out. Two women in his class claim they came up with the nickname Plath Daddy, which is gross, by the way. Barry is awkward as usual. He talks to some guy about dating, awkwardly. Ethan is still stalking Tegan, awkwardly. He calls Mommy for help. Mariah takes her dog for a walk in Montana. She's happy. Isaac meets with Caitlin. They talk in his truck. They get back together. Caitlin seems. Sorry, I said Caitlin, didn't I? Caitlin seems like she could be a stone cold bitch. Then they have a awkward date. Everyone, even Keegan, is going to go visit Mariah in Montana. That is all. Is that enough? That's all I got to say about that. It was awkward. Not to say that I'm not awkward, but at least I'm not on I'm not on here, but that's a different thing. I'm not showing my life to you awkwardly because I am awkward and I know it. This is clearing up. Can you tell? There's no bump anymore. Bye-bye's it. See, if you leave them alone, sometimes they'll go away on their own. I've only ever had one zit at a time. It's weird. I know. If I get two. I mean, I can have two occasionally, but it's highly unusual. So how are you? I'm awkward. My daughter keeps sending me Snapchats on the wrong account, on this account instead of on my regular account. And yes, I'm sending her a Snapchat back. I just said I'm filming here. She keeps sending me all of her snaps on that account, and I don't look at that account every day. If it's the weekend, I won't see it till at least Tuesday. Like, it could go from Friday to Tuesday, and I won't see that. She knows I'm filming. She should know I'm filming. She knows my schedule. She's good. Instead of my real personal account. All right. First up, we have entitled people. Entitled, husband and children invited to niece's wedding. I am not. That's rude. Niece. That's rude on the niece. Why do these people do this? I don't know. It's weird. You don't either invite the whole family or none of them. Choose. Husband's only sister, eldest daughter, 26, is getting married. I'm genuinely happy for her. Save the date was addressed to husband and family. Couples shower invite addressed to just him. He was really upset and went to ask his mother if I was really invited. Is that like flickering? This is a cheap Amazon light. I'm not. I trigger his sister, so niece is not inviting me, but wants husband and kids to attend. Backstory: spouse and I married 20 plus years ago. 2 kids, young teens, still married. Sister-in-law married, 2 kids, both older, both 20 plus. 18 months ago, my husband's father passed away. At the funeral, my other niece, 20, said some cruel things to my youngest. I asked her to apologize to my youngest. That's it. Instead of it's accused of destroying the family. How? Frickin' how? I was attacked for defending my kids. Sister-in-law sent a letter justifying her daughter's words. No apology. Lots of excuses. For the past 25 plus years, I've always been accommodating. They lived out of town, visited 6 to 10 days a year. Whatever they wanted to do was tolerable and short term. I tried to be helpful and agreeable. This is the first time I've ever stood up to them. The wedding is states away. My teens are aware. One is adamant she will not be attending without me. Good for her. My kids didn't attend my sister's wedding for reasons, legitimate reasons, and they had every right not to. It was stupid. It's stupid. It's a stupid situation that should never happen. Other one is unsure what to do, not wanting to let down her grandmother. Husband is furious. Mother-in-law is playing Switzerland. Mother-in-law should be playing Switzerland. I don't blame mother-in-law at all. Trying to take the high road, trying not to spiral. I still say you all go or none of you go. Sister can work it out. Husband seems mad enough to go along with that. If he's furious, he's okay. I'm flushing his top read comment, and they say no one goes, no gift, the end. Exactly. Electrical fee says that 100. Isn't a choose what's right for your scenario. The whole family needs to be aligned and supportive of you. This is so toxic. Candy Macaron says this is 100% this. Nobody goes and wing grandma. Kid's a young teen. What does the cousin have to say to him anyway? Or doesn't really say. Not enough information on the people on the cast in this Reddit read. Cast in this Reddit read is ambiguous at best. Beadsy, parents getting involved in sibling fights only ever backfires. I have the proof from my entire childhood where my mom would take a side and gang up on, gaslight the other ones being overly sensitive. My sister and I still don't get along. That's mostly because she's controlling, condescending bitch, though. Same, but mine, decadent life's the same, but mine was extreme rather than typical fights, head injuries, and hospital visits. My sister is very violent, particularly with me. She pushed me out of moving cars. Yikes. She brought an adult man into our house in the middle of the night when I was 14 and had him attack me in my sleep and strangle me. She's winging crazy. I haven't spoken to her in almost 15 years. When she first threatened to kill my son, he was 6. My parents have handled it pretty much as badly as possible. It made everything worse every time they interfered. I would, like, if my kid was like that, I would be taking sides, and it would not be the side of the aggressor. No, you don't do that to anybody, much less your sibling. You don't have people attack people. What was that adult doing that anyway? What the heck? What the actual heck? I can't believe it. Second top rated comment is from Cardigan Unicorn, and they say husband and children should not attend. Exactly. Sexy Pineapple says, my daughters and I would not attend without my wife. My kids and I would not attend without my husband. So I get it. Eat Crap says, You know what? I'm not attending it either in solidarity. I don't think any of us should. None of us should attend this wedding. I wonder if there's an update. Should we check? Let's check for an update. No, not no update. Okay, OP update this, please. Murder by words. Tax the empty rich houses now. Yes, please. Ashley Moody says the last thing you see before moving to Florida. Well, today we're taxing the rich. It's literally a tax on empty luxury properties nobody lives in. These people already live in Florida, dumbass. I like it when they representatives fight on Facebook or what is this? Fight on X, on Twitter. They're fighting on Twitter. Love it. Conscious Quarter says anybody who moves to Florida expecting an acceptable substitute for New York City deserves what they end up with. Yes, exactly. That guy you might know says, Mom Donnie, we're taxing people who own property in the city worth more than $5 million. Idiots who don't live in New York and make $30,000 a year. How winging dare you? The Roosevelt Tron says it's like people in Washington State who are mad about the new income tax here. It's literally just an income on income over $1 million. Yeah, Washington actually has an income tax, and it's a slippery slope thing. But JFC, they could tax 99% of the income over $1 million, and those guys would still bring home more a month than most people do all whole year. Boo hoo, exactly, 100%. Next, we're going back to Big Bend National Park. Review of the Boquillas Crossing Port of Entry is entitled Waste of Time. It's by Bob from Phoenix, Arizona. Do not try this port of entry. Don't understand why this port of entry even exists. It only benefits the town in Mexico across the almost dry Rio Grande. Waste of taxpaying money. Okay, so Mexico wants it there. You don't get to decide everything, America. Other countries exist. I'm an American, just for the record. Next, we have Traumatized the Mac, and it was entitled, He Was Never That Bad. My dad has dementia, and unfortunately, we're part of the caregiving circle to support my mom through it all. He was a horrible dad before he went through therapy, and then dementia is causing him to revert more and more into who he was before he fixed a lot of his issues. Not surprised. Not surprised by that at all. So helping out can be rather triggering. One night after we finally got him to bed, my mom was chatting with me and venting about the hard things, and I let it slip. Yeah, he reminds me of when I was younger. Mom, what do you mean? Me, before therapy, he was always angry and had to walk on eggshells all the time. Mom, but he was never abusive, though. If you're walking on eggshells, yes, he was abusive. We weren't perfect, but he never got physical. That's when I figured out she had blind gaslit herself from what it was like before when we were younger, and she was just as much of the problem as her enabling, so I reminded her. Me, I was fully afraid of him as a kid. Mom, I don't remember that. I mean, maybe she doesn't, maybe she's gaslighting herself, and maybe she literally doesn't remember it that way. People have different perspectives. He, especially when he came home, was watching the news, and we had to basically not exist. One time we were eating dinner in the next room, and we were being too loud. You remember he flipped the table with all the food and plates, and everything crashed to the floor. Mom, I must not have been home. I must have been working. Me, the ex forgets what the tree remembers. She got quiet, and the conversation ended after that. Yeah, she was definitely at the table flipping event. I specifically remember what she was wearing. She helped us clean up the mess, and she kept telling us this is why we needed to be quiet when Dad was home. That sounds terrifying. That does sound terrifying. You shouldn't have to be that quiet in your own house. I never made my kids be that quiet. Sometimes when I had a headache, I asked them to be quieter. A lot of times they were outside anyway. It didn't matter. She almost convinced me that I made it up, but every sibling remembers this event, and there's 7 of us. He hasn't gotten to the point of being physical again, but when he does it, I stop helping and demand that she puts him in a home. He was always nicer to strangers anyway. Marina 8 says, perfect response. The axe forgets, but the forest remembers. To the kids, it was a traumatic event. To the kids, it was a matter. To her, it was that Tuesday. She said just a person maybe says it was probably traumatic for the mom too, but people deal with trauma in different ways, and adults and kids especially deal with it in different ways. Just speculation, but the parents of kids who were abused often feel guilty that they didn't do more to protect the kids. If they themselves were also abused, it might be easier to think that they were protecting their kids rather than by taking their own abuse, because then it might not be as bad for the kids. It might be easier to rationalize that it wasn't that bad. Because of if it was that bad, that means they failed as a parent to protect their kids. This person's got it going on. If they were if they were also a bad parent, then their kids didn't have any good parents. Didn't have a safe childhood. Exactly. So forgetting or repressing memories and framing them as not as bad as they were is a way of protecting themselves, because they see themselves as good parents who would do anything to protect their kids. But they also know that the parents should step in and prevent abuse. But when you're actually in that situation, it isn't that easy, and people don't always do the right thing. People have less agency. They can't choose to divorce abusive parent or leave. They're more helpless, but that means that they can be more separated from the guilt if they didn't have the responsibility to fix the situation themselves, even if they felt that way sometimes. This is from What Should I Do? And is entitled, I just received this package from Ulta. What do I do? That looks terrible. What the heck is that? What is it supposed to be? That's disturbing. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Ulta, isn't that makeup? So she gave him this choice intervals version order. My partner ordered a candle. It's supposed to be a candle, okay, and some eyeshadow from Ulta. This is what we received in the mail. Neither item was wrapped or sealed in any way, just placed in a thin plastic shipping bag. And as you can see, the glass was broken and the eyeshadow leaked everywhere. I actually cut my finger on the opening of the package. Normally, I would just ask for a refund if something was damaged during shipping. This feels a little ridiculous. I think it's common sense that if you're shipping something made of glass, you would at least attempt to package / protect it. Any recommendations on how we should go handle this going forward? Edit. I did not expect this past to get this much attention or to be a polarizing topic for some people. Why would it be? I was a fan. It falls sometimes. I should have taken it out of the window this morning. My bad. Thank you all for the people attempting to help us, and to everyone for providing very entertaining comments along the way. Everyone have a good night. Update. The partner used the Ulta app to contact customer service. Photos were sent to show how the package arrived. Ulta immediately responded to say the best they could do was rectify the situation, was to have the items reshipped. While we both feel disappointed by the lack of opportunity to recognize and take responsibility for creating a dangerous situation, my partner wanted to resolve the issue quickly, so we agreed to just have the items reshipped. This time, the items did come in a box with ample bubble wrap and shipping label that shows it was not sent directly from the returns department. I did take new photos, but I'm not sure how to add them to the post. Dun dun dun. It's the top rated comment, and they say it looks like a shark ate it, and then someone cut it out of the shark's stomach. OP says this is how I will describe it to customers. Tog Trousers says I genuinely thought someone had sent you a homemade bomb. It sure looks like one. It's 10 p.m. says the second type rate comment. They say, first glance I saw this second picture with a silver lip. I thought the first one was bad. Orderver says, My thought was, girl, did you order a bomb?" Okay, neighborhood answers, "Yes, I thought this was one of those. I found World War II bomb in the sand post or something." Um, Hinta Wangu as the third copyright comment, and they say, "Contact them and tell them it was damaged." Adriana says, "Make sure you tell them you cut your finger on it while that's unacceptable and resulted in physical harm for their negligence." Yeah, she should definitely mention the finger. Like, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen if you get infected. I hate it when I have stuff on my screen that I can see on my face. It's annoying. Next we have malicious compliance is entitled "State Said No Cities Can Fly Non-Approved Flags." The Idaho State Legislature has been very angry at Boise City Hall because Boise City Hall was flying a pride flag. They tried to make a law, but Boise found a loophole. So they passed an ironclad law stating no city could fly anything other than the U.S., state, official city, and POW flags. So Boise took down the pride flag, wrapped all their poles in the colors of the pride flag. Awesome. Love Boise. Go Boise. For sure. We'll visit. Not Idaho, but Boise alone. Uh, Guard Garden Witch is the top rate comment, and she says, IIRC Utah did the same thing, so Salt Lake added a rainbow to their official city flag. That's awesome. Love that. Segwitch answers, they actually added 3 approved pride designs that really only added the city symbol to them. It went into effect mere days after the state passed their stupid law. Um, so many answers, not just pride, but also Juneteenth one. Pony Flare is the second top rate comment, and they say, looks like they actually made it an official city flag. Judge says that was last year under the old statute. The new law, which took effect when signed, added the $2,000 a day fine and limited cities to only one official flag, provided it was adopted prior to 2023. Rude. Rude. Fiddlefist says, the Idaho legislature has wasted so much waning time and money trying to pretend LGBTQ people don't exist. Good on Boise for continuing to be a thorn in their side. Abrupt Mango is a third top rate comment. They say, the party of freedom. True. This is Evil Buildings. This is a radio telescope. This is in Russia. I don't know. I feel like radio telescopes are a dime a dozen. How about you? Um, Wrestling is real. Says tomorrow is my turn to post this. Yeah. Roy for Pears, almost a rule of Reddit. Everything has been posted before. There's always someone who's seeing it for the first time. Three Body Problem. I got to read that. My husband ordered it, so now I get to read it after he's done with it. He doesn't know I know he ordered it. He doesn't know I know he bought it. I found it in the package along with whatever else he ordered. I can't remember what else he ordered. Next is AITAH, entitled AITAH for refusing to drive longer route to drop a girl off because she didn't want to be alone in the car with me. Yeah, kinda. Dude, until it's no men, it's all men. She don't know you. I feel like it's relevant to mention I'm male. Yeah, no kidding. This situation involves me and 3 other people. Let's call them Joe, Sandra, and Amy. I'm good friends with Joe. We've been friends since we were kids. I know Sandra through Joe, and the three of us hang out regularly. Last week, Sandra invited a friend, Amy, to hang out with us. Amy and Sandra are good friends, and she met Joe before. This was my first time meeting her. We saw a movie and then went bowling. Sounds like a date night. Which one's with whom? Who's with whom? Everything was done. Sandra asked me if I was okay to drive Amy home. I said, yeah, no problem. I'm the only one who drives, so I usually drop everyone off after we see each other. We live in the middle of nowhere, so why are you the only driver? If you live in the middle of nowhere, why aren't the other three of you driving? That's weird. They don't say how old these people are. I live in the middle of nowhere, like an hour north of all of them. They all live pretty close together. From where we were, everyone's house made sense to drop Joe off first and Sandra, then Amy. Then continue on home. We didn't discuss the logistics in advance, so I dropped Joe off first and then was heading to Sandra's. I could tell Amy and Sandra were texting each other. They were kind of whispering. I had a feeling they were talking about me, but I didn't know for sure until Sandra pointed out that I made a wrong turn and Amy's house was the other way. I explained it made more sense to drop Sandra off first than Amy. But Amy doesn't know you and she doesn't want to be in the car with you, sir. It was only at this point that Amy mentioned she didn't want to be alone in the car with me. Her only reason was because I'm a man. She alluded to being alone with a man she doesn't know really know is unsafe. And she is correct. She don't know you, she'll choose the bear. What she was asking for me to do was drop off, then drive 10 minutes back in the opposite direction of my house, drop Sandra off. Then another 10 minutes back to the same location I came back from. Oh well. This is what you do for people when you're a kind person. Passing Amy's house again in order to get home. My drive home is already an hour out of town, so I said no, I didn't want to add an extra 20 minutes to my already 60-minute drive. They were both really pressuring me, and I was trying to guilt me into just doing it, but I kept saying no. It was such an awkward car ride because I just didn't give up. Because she did not want to be in the car with you. She don't know you, sir. Amy just got out of the car at Sandra's house. She kind of slammed the door aggressively, which pissed me off. Oh well, too bad. I just drove straight home afterwards. Joe called me the next day and heard what happened. He felt like I should have just done it, but I feel like the ask was unreasonable. It's not. Women need to feel safe. So it's not unreasonable at all. I'm not going out of my way to do a favor for someone who thinks I'm messed up abuser or something. She doesn't think that. She doesn't know you. She doesn't know that you're not. Anyway, I'm just looking for opinions on whether I'm the asshole here. Yes, you are. Heartbreak comment is from Fading Sun Glow. NTA, her getting out at Sandra's was the right thing for her to do if she felt uncomfortable. You were giving her a free ride today. Her choice not to take it, whatever, but you didn't do anything wrong. Yes, he did. He told her he would take her home. And she told him, I don't feel safe with you alone in the car. Can you please drop me off first? Drop Sandra off first. Brown sugar cane. As a woman, I would have been pissed off if my friend was demanding my other friend driving. No. They're all wrong. No. Disasters Art said if they wanted you to do it that way, there should have been agreement before. I agree with that, but maybe they didn't know what he was going to do. Someone said she can take a lift from Sanders. Yeah, she can, but he told her he was taking her home. And she didn't. I mean, I completely understand her not wanting to be in a car alone with him. They're all putting it on her. This is how women get hurt, people. Just because you know the guy, you think you know them. Nobody really knows anybody. And people are capable of things when they're put in certain situations that they normally wouldn't do. Hopefully he's a good guy and wouldn't do that. He might just be a nice guy and would do that. I don't blame Amy at all. This is next. We have neighbors from hell, and it's entitled "Neighbor Keeps Trespassing to Use Charging Station." I have this neighbor who recently bought an EV. We live in a condo townhouse community, so parking is reserved. The neighbor, will call him Jim, had a charging station installed for his car, no big deal. But the only place I could put it was next to my parking space, which is in front of my house that I pay for. Jim has decided that since he paid this money, he has the right to take my parking space to charge when I'm not home. Every day when I get home from work, I have to call him to move his car from my space. I threatened to have him told if it happens again. Yesterday, I came home to find Jim now parked in the grass in front of my house to charge his car, which is unacceptable. So I mentioned, please don't park in the grass. It's where my kids play. Today I woke up to go to work and now a charging station was over my car and plugged into his car, which is parked so close to my car I can't even open my door. What do I do? He's not answering his phone and has become extremely hostile for me. Maybe stop being such an ass about it. He's got to charge his car. That's the only place he can do it. Not an actual boss. As your townhouse management needs to be contacted. This might be escalated to police call since you cannot access your vehicle. Good luck. I suspect the management will deal with the issue by reassigning parking. Newmanov says, I can't understand why OP didn't protest when the charging station was installed. Exactly. OP says, I missed the recent board meeting. I had been out of town for the holidays when it was installed. Oh, excuses, excuses. We go to Chicago every Christmas and their New Year's Eve to visit family. My question is, it's in front of your house. How is he in your driveway? Or are you parking in front of your house? In which case, he has every right to park there. Competitive reach says unplug his car. He's complaining that he can't open his own door. Call the police then, dude. Fourth rate comment finally has a reasonable suggestion. It says they make extension cords for EV chargers. This is the answer, yes. And I do not own the space I park in since it's community grounds, but I do pay for it, so it's technically leased, and the cost is included in my monthly fees. So yeah, that's what I thought. It wasn't in his own driveway. He's gonna lose his parking spot from being a jerk. Next is Benign Existence, entitled My Cousin's Husband Sneaky. I recently went to visit with family, and some of us cousins and our spouses met up at a restaurant. Towards the end of the meal, I saw my cousin's husband get up and go over to the bar and order a cocktail, and noticed that he paid for it at the bar. I thought he was being considerate and paying for his cocktail separately. 30-ish minutes later, when we were ready to go, I asked for the bill so we can split it and found my cousin-in-law paid the entire bill for 10 people. He sneaked over to the bar and paid the bill under the guise of buying a cocktail. Flatly refused to accept any repayment, said he was celebrating seeing everyone. Keep in mind, we're all his in-laws. My cousin is awesome, and I'm so happy she has such a sweet husband. I am too. I like him. He's a keeper. Nice Marion Barry is the top rated comment. It says, I'm a server. I love, love, love when people do that. It's so awkward when people start bickering over the check right in front of me, and I usually walk away until they hash it out. Proper response. Look, he says, normally we split it all by couples. There were 5 couples. We just split it even fifths. We all roughly make roughly equivalent ages. None of us is the type to take advantage and order a bunch of crazy stuff. We all tip pretty well, so it's usually pretty simple. He just had to be Mr. Sneaky Pants and break the tradition. I tell you what, though, next time we go out, I'm determined to be the sneaky one and pay for everybody. He doesn't know it. Just declared war. It's a nice war. It's a war of niceness. Rowdy Caucasian is the second top rated comment. They say, I do stuff for my friends and family sometimes. It's easy to be sneaky if no one's paying attention. Old Dragon Fruit says, I am a nephew-in-law and I compete with each other on sneaking out to pay the bill when the giant extended family dines out. Only Half says, I'm going to the restroom. Oh, yeah? Well, I'll get another glass at the bar. I think my parking meter ran out. I'll go to replenish it. I'm going to a place to go order my mom who's visiting. I'm I'm your mom and I'm right here. Table sprints away. Next we have Found Satan, entitled Style Tips by No, she says. If a hotel charges me to park, I'm running the water 24/7. Nothing to see says, you guys know nothing about how to damage property long term. Insect raw egg with a syringe into soft furniture and beds. The smell will appear only after a few days. Impossible to get rid of. Total change of furniture. Fizzle Main says, I followed you because you're evil, and I love that. This is evil. Mean. Why would you do that? This just costs everybody money. Stop costing me money. I forgot that I knocked over my mic yesterday. I hope you can still hear me. The thing is going, so I assume you can. It's on 1. It's always on 1. No matter what I do, it's only on 1 ever. Da Vinci says, well, I love that arrogance. You know nothing about renting property. Scowl says, a second top rated comment, and he says, my fave is still the shrimp shells inside the curtain rod. That's evil. There's a reason this is called Found Satan. Just no Mill. Mill called part of my Easter meal disgusting. Why would she do that? Every year, my husband and I are responsible for hosting dinner for my in-laws. If my daughter-in-law doesn't host Easter, we don't have an Easter, essentially. Because they'll go to her family because there's more kids, which is fine. I don't have a problem with it. There's more kids in her family. So they go over there. We don't do that because they're not nice people. They're not nice people. A little backstory. I took a huge step back from helping since the first year, approximately 7 years ago. I cooked everything and spent all day cooking a huge meal. Ham, potatoes, pierogies, cabbage rolls, veggies, salad, etc. Are you Polish with the pierogies and the cabbage rolls? This all took place on Saturday. At the time, everyone had only good thing to say, aside from my mother-in-law upset that there were no deviled eggs. You could have brought deviled eggs, Mom, if you wanted them. I thought everything went so well until Sunday rolled around. My mother-in-law had everyone except me over for a second Easter dinner because everyone wanted turkey, not ham. I have not cooked since. I don't blame you when ham is what you eat on Easter. You eat ham on Easter. You have turkey for Thanksgiving and Christmas and ham on Easter. You might have goose on Christmas if you have that option. Most people do not. My husband and I do not like turkey. It's dry and just awful. And no, ma'am, it's not. You have not had one of my turkeys. My turkeys are delicious. I've got turkeys down to a science. Come over for Thanksgiving next year. I'll cook you a proper turkey. So every year, my husband chooses his own non traditional meat to serve. This year, it was smoked ribs. Immediately, my sister in law requested hers not be smoked. Weirdo. Mother in law also immediately messages and says, "Chicken, please. We're not a restaurant." That's not how this works. My husband questioned even doing the ribs since it was a 6-hour commitment with already so many complaints, but he decided to proceed since there were still 8 other people who would eat them. He told his mom and sister to bring their own meat. This was met with a "for real" from his mom, followed by, "You know I don't eat ribs. Sorry, I thought you were accommodating everyone." No, we're not accommodating everyone. We're cooking what we like and you can accommodate yourself. Which was a jab at the fact that we were hosting Easter at my husband's grandparents' house instead of ours. We decided to do this because his grandpa is hooked up on oxygen and it's very challenging to get him out anywhere. Apparently, it's also unacceptable to mother that we didn't have it at our house to accommodate 86-year-old grandpa. So on to the day. Husband smokes ribs, makes salad and potatoes. I make baked beans, mac and cheese, and cornbread. That sounds delicious. Other than mac and cheese, because I don't like mac and cheese. But that's okay. The rest, I would be fine. I'm fine with my salad, potatoes, and baked beans and cornbread. I bet you the cornbread was not sweet and they didn't like that either. All of which I offered to make since my husband doesn't like any of those dishes, but I love them with ribs. The beans are canned beans, so I put a bit of onion and barbecue sauce into them. Not a groundbreaking dish, but I do love dripping cornbread into it. So good. I always make it the same way, but seriously, it's nothing effort. Now on to the dinner. I set the scene. Grandma, sister-in-law, and 6-month-old niece to my left. Father, mother-in-law, and future brother-in-law engaged to sister-in-law to my right. Husband and grandpa, and my 2 kids in the living room. This is important to note that my husband is not in the room with us. Mother-in-laws are always braver when with their words when their sons aren't around to defend their wife. True. Mel takes the chicken she brought, salad, and a small bit of beans, clearly deeming everything else not worthy of her time. She suddenly asks what's in the beans, and I say a bit of undercued barbecue sauce. These are disgusting. That's all she says. Everyone notes my face going red. So father-in-law said everyone's palates are different, and grandma says, "You can't please everyone, don't even bother trying." Oh my. If you cannot please everyone all the time. You cannot please everyone. I'm making what I want. You can starve for all I care. We could have ended it right there. The mother-in-law continues and says, "Well, the garbage will enjoy them." I could have died right there. I held my crap together and didn't cry even though I wanted to. Not because of the beans. Beans aren't worth crying over, but the level of respect she would have the balls to say this to my face, so heartbreaking. Don't invite them next time. My future brother-in-law, who I don't believe ever witnessed the way she treats me, then looks at my mother-in-law in horror and says, "Pardon me?" You could hear a pin drop. He looks at me with pure sadness in his eyes. No one else said anything for fear of keeping this conversation going. Grandma made sure to eat every last bit of those beans and even had seconds, bless her heart. Grandma's a good person. Grandma's a good person. My husband was mortified when I told him when we got home. He said we can take a step back for a while. Yeah, don't invite them anymore. If they can't appreciate your effort, don't invite them. You know what I do when I go to families' houses and I don't like something, I don't eat it. I don't complain because other people like it. Like mac and cheese. I don't eat mac and cheese. I don't like it. I don't say things like the garbage disposal will like it. I don't eat it and say it's disgusting. I don't say anything about it. I just ignore it. Like it's not even there. Mac and cheese does not exist for me. There's one mac and cheese I will eat, and it's from a restaurant in Fowlerville, Michigan. That's the only mac and cheese I eat. It's from this podunk place in Fowlerville, Michigan, and it's the best thing ever. But otherwise, it's a three cheese mac and cheese. It's like nothing else I've ever tasted in mac and cheese. I don't eat mac and cheese on a regular basis, but I will go stop there on purpose to get that mac and cheese. I'm nothing but not but inconsistent, I know. But yeah, if there's mac and cheese, I don't eat it. I don't like it. I won't eat it. If I pick up something I usually like and I don't like it, I won't say anything. It just goes in the garbage. And it's fine. You don't have to like every version of everything. You keep your mouth shut. Nobody needs to know that you didn't like it, especially not the host that made it. Stop being a jerk. So that's the story. My beans aren't disgusting my beans aren't disgusting and belong in the garbage. I'm sad, but I shall move on. Thank you for reading. Old Professional says turkey is an odd choice for Easter. Probs just me though. We've always done ham. Your mother-in-law sounds like a real piece of work. Yeah, exactly. Ham is Easter. I told you this. Didn't I tell you that? Tiny Coconut is the third top rate comment, and they say GF. The second one was just wow. GFC, is she banging five? Because those are things a 5-year-old would say, what an a-hole. No, a 5-year-old would not even say that because 5-year-olds have been taught manners. Worship the Void says, your mother in law sounds insufferable. You should drop her off in the woods and never look back. Maybe she'll find a pack of wild mother in laws to join. Grandma sounds like a delight, and I want her to be in everyone's grandma. 100%. Rainbow 12 Bo says, this isn't about the beans or food at all. Mother-in-law wants you to feel small. She's a bully. You could have served her favorite meal on solid gold plate, and she'd still cut you down for it or exclude you somehow. People like this don't care if you cry or stand up for yourself with witty comebacks. Any reaction just fuels their true hunger, which is hurting you, inflicting pain, and taking control, and making everything about them. Nothing will stop her except removing yourself from her orbit and feeling consequences from your husband. Cute Tangelo says 100% this. She will be superior with you because she's a horrible person. And I'm so glad Grandma and Grandpa and brother-in-law had your back. Yes, people love you, clearly. Maybe not as mature. Please take a little solace in the fact that Grandma can cut her down. Cut her down, that had to hurt her pride. People like to say be the bigger person, but I don't think that's always the best thing to do. People like your mother-in-law need to be put in their place sometimes. The next time she makes an a-hole remark, and you know she will, tell her that her rude opinion doesn't matter to you and wasn't asked for you. My mother-in-law used to say crap to me when my husband was out of the room. Last time she did it, I got up and said, Hubs, come here, your mom has something to say to you. Her mouth was hanging open. That's how you handle that. He came in and I said, go ahead and tell him. She put it down and said she didn't know what I was talking about. I said, then why did you just say X about my family? My husband was so mad she didn't do it again. Yeah, you got to call them out. People like that, turn the other cheek does not work with them. Next, we have Retail Haul entitled Grocery Store on Good Friday. This is good. This is like me every day, though. Every time I go out of the house, coming home after a long day of masking. I swear that's me every time I leave the house. I'm not a normal person. Zat Vandal says, OMG, I work at a garbage store. Work at a garbage store, and we've sold 1,000 boxes of Pop Tarts today. Now I'm assuming these Pop Tarts are going to be put out for Easter brunch. Our society is turning a grimmer level of garbage. LP says, I was trying to get against Easter candy, and multiple times I just wanted to punch someone. Blackwing says, mood. My whole body hurts. Just ugh. Brozo says, I feel called out massively. OMG. Good Friday is one of the only days we're closed other than the other one is Christmas Day. So the day before is just chaotic. I also got thrown in charge of the seafood deli department. Of course, so many people only want to eat fish on Good Friday. So, my face was definitely slipping from happy to sad to worried very fast throughout 2 hours of my shift. Actually, the whole 10-hour shift. Went on break at one point, and I literally couldn't move as I had just masked so much. It was just so much. Got home and literally couldn't do anything, not even talk. Slept over 12 hours and still feel like I didn't want to do anything or talk to anyone or anything. I was going to work today at Easter Sunday, but I realized I didn't have the budget for it, as I would have been going into overtime on a public holiday. So you bet I'm taking it easy. I'm autistic and very used to coming home after a long day of masking, but that was next level. Sorry, Brozo. That sounds hard. And why are they only closed on Good Friday and Christmas? There are other more important holidays than Good Friday. Seems like a weird choice to me. Must be Catholic. Next, I have Petty Revenge entitled My Coworker Kept Taking Credit for Closing Tasks, so I stopped reminding him about the one thing he made and made him look useful. That made him look useful. I used to work night shift at a small hotel front desk. There were only two of us, so it was pretty obvious who actually did the work and who just floated around looking busy. My coworker Eric was great at the second one. He'd avoid the boring stuff like walking down the wa- my He'd avoid the boring stuff like wiping down the coffee station, restocking key cards, and getting breakfast set up ready. Then act like we'd both done equal work. When the morning manager came in, he always made himself sound more on top of things than he really was. The part that finally got to me was the breakfast prep. Night shift was supposed to leave things ready for the morning attendant, including moving the waffle batter from the freezer so it would be usable. Technically, that was shared, but the only reason it ever got done was because I reminded Eric every shift around 5:10. I did because if it got missed, the morning shift complained at both of us. One morning, Eric told our manager I was forgetful about closing details and that he would always caught things behind me. After that, I stopped reminding him. I still did my own work. I just stopped giving him the one nudge led to him, led to him, that let him act competent. 3 shifts later, it feels like it's been 3 shifts since I started this. 3 shifts later, the breakfast attendant opened the freezer and realized the waffle batter had never been moved. Manager asked what happened, and Eric immediately tried to say he thought that I handled that part. My manager just looked at him and said, "But I thought you always double check behind her." The room got quiet real fast. He didn't get fired or anything, but after that, he stopped acting like my supervisor in the name tag and somehow started remembering breakfast prep all by himself, helping me much more. I don't even want to see the comments on that because that's too satisfying already. Next, we have Am I the Jerk? And it is entitled AITJ for refusing to redo a project after my coworker deleted my work by mistake and asked me just to recreate it. Probably not, because you can't recreate things like that. And you can always get things back, just so you know. You can get things back. I don't know why it's flashing like that. There's nothing in my room flashing. So I don't know why the camera's doing that. I need a new camera. I still said this even turned into an argument. I've been working on client presentation for 2 weeks. It wasn't just slides. I had a lot of data pulled from different sources, formatting notes, all of that. I finally finished it and saved everything on our shared drive like we were supposed to. The next morning I log in and it's gone. Not moved, not renamed, gone. I asked my coworker who says, "Oh yeah, I think I deleted something yesterday while cleaning up folders, but it should be fine, right?" It was not fine. It was the entire project. I told her that was my file and asked if she could restore it. She said she didn't know how to do that. I could probably redo it quickly since I already know what to do. That part really got me. It took me 2 weeks. I told her I'm not redoing it from scratch and she needs to figure out how to recover or explain to our manager what happened. She got defensive and says mistakes happen and I'm making a big deal of it. 2 weeks of work is not, 2 hours of work is not, because I've had that done to me too in college. I was working for 2 hours on a project. We went to eat. I come back. Hadn't saved it, which was stupid, I know. But this was an early days of computerizing. This was in 1985, maybe 80. This was probably early 86. So very early in computer age. Got back. My husband's roommate had turned the computer off without saving it. I was so mad. Of course, I redid it. I still got an A. Shocker, I know. And now it's become a weird thing to look where I look difficult for refusing to just fix it quietly. No. Farm Girl B says you need to talk to your manager at IT immediately. Don't leave it for the incompetent coworker NTJ. Yeah, certain answers, yes, IT might be able to recover if you let them know soon enough. Actually, it shouldn't even be soon enough. It should be recoverable for a while, or at least most of it should be. Scorp answers, and always save your own backup to your local drive PC. I always keep originals on my spreadsheets because if history has taught me anything with shared drives is that you cannot trust it. Someone will inevitably conjure up the file and then look to me to rebuild it. You can protect documents from being deleted on OneDrive or SharePoint by adjusting permissions or using retention policies. The most effective methods include setting up custom permission levels, removing delete rights, or using data governance tools like retention labels to prevent deletion from specific periods. But this depends on how your organization has instructed IT to set up the network. You have too long to do that all the time. And there was Auden said this is no mistake or accident. She's sabotaging you. Inform your manager immediately. This protects you and also gives them the proper ability to properly plan if necessary, which show you will be a valuable employee. Don't worry about slimy coworker. Protect your reputation and your company. 100%. Inner confidence is a third-rate comment, and they say contact your manager and IT immediately, as well as HR. She did this on purpose. She knew how hard you worked on it. Plus, if IT can't recover it, that will prove it was deliberate. Most people go through several layers to remove completely from computer, not just hitting delete. Yes, exactly. And it will keep it for a while. There are very easy ways to do it. This is from Signs of the Story, Northern U.S. Sports Bar. It says we make our chicken wings to an internal temperature of 165. We then deep fry them in order to order back to an internal temperature of 165. It says meat is purple pink color that is the pigments from the bone marrow that has been seeped into the meat. It has not stained it those colors. It's not raw chicken by any means. Are you sure it's 165? Are you sure? There was a deleted comment, and then someone answers. The top comment was deleted. And then someone answers, people have no idea how food works anymore. Expensive Border says they really don't, even with a more standard burger or chicken, but the edge is pink, okay, and the middle is 165. I promise the edges too. But sure, I'll cook you another. The edges are never pink. I don't know where it gets a. Cole Silent Bean says there's one sports bar here where it didn't matter that they were fully cooked. My toilet still hasn't forgiven me. If you ever eat out, you're at risk of getting some type of food poisoning. It doesn't matter. At some point, it may happen. It's food. The people can be 100% always on top of it, and something will still happen occasionally. I don't understand why people don't understand that. This is expectation versus reality. Second time trying to knit a stuffed animal. This is a little cute patootie they're trying to knit. Isn't that cute? I love it. I love it. It's so cute. I love that little doge. I mean, it's not bad. It could be way worse. Okay, it's pretty bad. Why does he have a waddle? That's my first question is why does he have a waddle? I name him Trump. Poor little thing. Super cute, but reminds me of the dog that ate the bee. And that's the dog it reminds me of. I can see it. I can see it. Yes, it looks like he needs Benadryl. Poor puppy. The rare inanimate crypto dog. Cryptid dog. Cryptid, not crypto. I love him. I love him too, even though he's got a waddle. Pete Davidson's art-filled home in New York. This is North Salem, New York. 2,150,000. I mean, it's nice. It's not like outrageously ridiculous. It's 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2,300 square feet. It's not a huge house. I don't know how much land it has with it, but it looks beautiful. It's near water. You can see the water back there in the corner. Here we go, 40 pictures. Oh, it's just a little pond. That's okay. A little pond is nice. Nice. I like the screened-in porches. It's got a little hot tub or something in there. Hot tub or a lap pool. Not a lap pool. I don't know what they're called. They're like a one-lane like pool that you can swim against the current in. I believe. I believe that's what it is. Oh, that's really cool. It's not ostentatious or anything. It's rather nice. And I mean, it's Pete Davidson. I expect some weirdness. You find what you love and let it kill you. That sounds like Pete Davidson. I like that rainbow cactus. I like it a lot. Nice fireplace. Interesting little doohickeys on the fireplace hearth. I wanted to call it a mantle for a minute, but a mantle that's not the mantle, that's the hearth. I like that it's not completely outrageous, but nice with a few quirks. I expect nothing less from Pete. He's awesome. I do not like the open concept top kitchen stuff. That's just me. I'm sure other people really like it. And that's okay. More of a theater-ish room here. Maybe we should do that downstairs. I'll have to ask my husband about that. We've been trying to find a couch that's acceptable. We want something that's maneuverable. Something like this, but like so that we can flip that one that way. But this one needs to have a back. That's what we're looking at. Yes, it's all about me. It's my show. I get to talk about me if I want. What does that say? Oakwood. Something about a beach. This is really cool. That's a really cool concept right there. Why is Snoopy's plugged in over here? Is that Snoopy or is that a different dog? Kind of looks like Snoopy and it kind of don't. It doesn't have the back. The back isn't right for Snoopy. Tanning bed. No. Big fat no. I'm assuming that's a tanning bed. Sunlight and impulse. Maybe it's one of those sun, UV things. If you have depression, sometimes that can help in the winter. And in New York, I would imagine they need that. Giants fan. There's nothing in here that's terrible. A little quirky. That bathroom's nice. I have no issue with the bathroom. Interesting place for a bed. Interesting room. Why do you have a bed there, Pete? That's weird. Nice glassed-in porch area. I bet you guys it's nice and warm in the winter. I would like that. Backyard is nice. Weird little lofty bed there. Be good for kids. Kids would like that. I'm just drinking it all in. Interesting bathroom, not terrible. The faucet being on the. Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe that's just the side. It looks weird. But there's one in my room, in my house, that would look like that if I took a picture at a certain angle. He even has a TV out by the pool, little pooly thing. And yeah, the hot tub, of course. Gotta have the hot tub. Is that one of those solar plunge baths? You gotta have the full Swedish experience. Don't you? I mean, I like it. He'd sleep some more. He likes to sleep. He has depression, so that makes sense. It's another theater type room, game room. And of course, you have to have the ubiquitous exercise room. Lots of weights, not a lot of cardio in there. You don't have a garage in the house. I don't like that. I need a garage attached to the house. Thank you very much. Gated, nice. So Esset is $2,150,000 in North Salem, New York. Built in 1930. 6-acre lot. Nice size. Truly magical setting overlook a scenic pond. 6 rolling acres of old stone walls, ornamental trees, and perennial gardens. Sophisticated country house. Sun-filled rooms with vaulted ceilings, random with pine floors, and custom light. I didn't even notice the floors. I was too distracted with everything else. Gourmet kitchen with customary backlit cabinetry, granite and stainless countertops, and professional appliances. There is a first floor preliminary suite with door to private terrace garden. 2 additional bedrooms, one with a loft sleeping area. Guest room with a bath and doors to screened-in porch and 2 sun decks. The lower level has family room, sauna, and wine cellar. They have covered porch with automatic screens, cold plunge tub, and hot tub. I was right, that was a cold plunge tub. Covered lap pool. It is a lap pool with jet stream and automatic phantom screens. I mean, he's got it fancied up, but it's just a normal house. Kind of cool. I don't know that he's going to get that much money for it. Some of the fancy stuff isn't like doesn't add that much value to it, even if it's fancy. Like a pool doesn't add any value to a house. Sometimes it takes away the value from the house. It's got oil heat. Ugh. Yuck. No, thank you. I would be putting in some solar panels and some electric heat. Pronto. No central air. Appliances include the dishwasher. Apparently, you're not getting any of the appliances in the house. That's not fun. And replacing all of those costs you a pretty penny, too. Parking spaces, two garage spaces. Looks like a three-car garage to me. A Juliet balcony. I didn't see that. I wonder why he's selling it. Where's he moving? Taxes are $42,000 a year. He has lowered the price since last month. And lowered it quite a bit from the 2,500,000 to $2.5 million he was asking for originally. So it's not really selling. Bought it $15,000. That's weird. That's got to be an error. Hard tax at 2,800. That's not what that other thing said. Top rated comment says kitchen is fantastic. OMG, I love seeing a celeb house that looks like people actually live in it and put care and personality into it. Yes, exactly. Do Entertainer says this is the first celeb house I've ever seen that I really want to live in. Financial Coconut says the little side pool patio is the cutest thing. It is. Was a person one says the hangout slush barn garage thing is amazing. I think he just had a baby, which makes so much sense to have an area like this outside the main home to hang with his friends. Yes, exactly. Red Room Cooper says I think the live laugh love style version of Bukowski quote with the living room is really funny. Let's have server life stiffed but with a twist. A couple of days ago, I ran out to a table who forgot their to go, only to come back inside and realize they stiffed me on $85. So 113, $135. And they left a $50 tip. Oh, it was $85 and they left a $50 tip. A couple days ago, I ran out after a table forgot their to go, only to come back and realize they stiffed me on $85. I was very upset. And they had no issues, but as we all do, try to do, I sucked it up and kept going about my day. My sister/coworker even tried to cheer me up by praying that I'd get a great tip that night to make up for it, since I really need the money. La- late that night, I saw the guy who paid talking to the host. He came back. He apologized, saying he went home and realized he didn't leave a tip. As he usually isn't the one paying, it just completely spaced on it. But I was never just not tipped before. He said did seem to go out of it after forgetting his to-go food too. He asked how he could tip me, and I said he could come put the tip on the original check. So I waited a moment while he wrote it out. Aggressively thanked him for coming back. He'd been serving for years, and I have only ever had someone come back twice now. I wasn't expecting anything crazy. He left me $50 and wrote funny sorry on it at the top. And I wonder how often this stuff happens where people weren't thinking or did their math wrong to these bad tips. Anyway, feeling super grateful, he came back to me. Has been so generous. Yeah, don't think the worst of people, so maybe they just forgot. Remember that dream is a top rated comment. And she says, I had a woman come back repeatedly for about 2 months because she forgot to tip me. I wanted to apologize and tip me in person. I think she kept coming back during the day and I only worked evenings. It was so sweet. I told her it was unnecessary, but she made a huge effort, so I couldn't refuse. Aloof Luffy says, this is such a wholesome story. I'm glad you got that tip in fit 41. I'm 41 and due to some unfortunate circumstances, I'll need to start waiting tables again to make ends meet. Hope I get tips like these too. I hope that guy is okay. Maybe he's just having a bad day. It happens to all of us. Next we have confession. It's titled, I took about $2,000 on a drug dealer that overdosed. I was the first on the scene as a first responder. I'm a firefighter, and about 2 years ago, we got a call to a house for an ambulance assist, but we got there first. We walked in, and there was two guys on the sofa passed out. We cupped very fast. It was a heroin overdose, so we needed Narcan to reverse the effects of the heroin. My colleague went out to the truck to get some, and me and another guy stayed. I noticed a wallet on the table full of money. As soon as I had the chance, I put it in my trousers pockets before anyone had seen it. There was $2,000 in it. It felt kind of bad, but we saved their life. Sir, you are a thief. You are no better than those guys. Probably worse. 10-time confession. Yeah, it is. Jellycat is the second typewriter comment. She says, my grandfather always talked crap about New York City firemen looting from apartments on fire. Now I see why. Came over says, I dated a girl for a while whose brother was a firefighter. He told me that if a house looked like it was going to be completely destroyed, they'd quickly flip a mattress, check the bottom shelf in the closet, or empty a dresser drawer looking for valuables before going outside in defense mode. Market Crows blushes. Well, there goes a little more faith in humanity. Yeah. I mean, it's fine if you do that if you give it to the people who own the house. That stuff isn't covered by their insurance, sir. Cyberclaw X said quite some time ago I had a brutal motorcycle crash. Uh, one of those that onlookers thought was just a matter of time. When I exited the hospital 5 weeks later, I opened my sunglasses wallet and lo and behold, some cheap, crappy plastic shade. That was lending aid saw the sunglasses and thought I wouldn't need them anymore and replaced them with plastic ones. Even dumber, they didn't make my $50 in the wallet, so that just the winging sunglasses. Rude people. So this is how firefighters are. Somehow I'm not surprised sometimes. I know at least one firefighter is a crappy person. Next thing interesting as Wang, we call it here. Because of the war, a 77-year-old Ukrainian grandmother was trying to escape her home and started walking alone down a road. Fortunately, she was spotted by a drone, and because their escape route was under fire, they sent man brown vehicle for her to sit in to get to safety. That's lovely. I love stories like this. This is a war story. She can't even walk. She has a walker.
So, yeah,
she doesn't have a walker. She has 2 canes. She should have a walker. Oh, lady.
Все, сел, все, потихонечку, давай. Друже графіт, приблизь, будь ласка, до ніги, хоча б бачити, чи не чіпляються вони до асфальту. Щоб їй, не дай Бог, гуслею ноги не повредило.
И руки, где руки находятся.
Так, там сантиметров 5-10 до асфальту. Ноги высоко, да, все, она поджалась. Все, друже, подякував.
Давайте, Бонь. Давайте. Доброго дня. Давайте, не подожди, давайте, бо тут дрони, понимаете, бабушка, ви понимаете, що вам подожди. Ой, давайте, опа. І в укриття.
And the unmanned drone is going back to search for more people, to help more people get to safety.
Бывают и такие ситуации.
They transport her to somewhere else, apparently.
Раді вас усі бачити дуже просто.
Somebody send this poor woman a walker, though.
Все, наконец-то можно вздохнуть.
Понял, что мамки
Слава
My
Богу.
sister-in-law. That's enough of them. That's enough of them to give up for this poor woman. That's lovely. Lloydie Boy says, quote, to avoid frightening the woman, the ground robot system was covered with a blanket bearing the message, Grandma, get on. That's great. Informal Fishing Song says, oh, nice. I was wondering how she knew to hop on. Yeah, because especially an older person might not put 2 and 2 together that easily. The taint in my foot says, that ain't my foot says, pretty much the best use of unmanned vehicle I've seen yet. Wonderful. Recent 2 says, that must have been terrifying even after the rescue, though, because she now basically sat on top of a military vehicle on a prime target. That drive out must have been agonizing for all involved, but it's faster than her walking. Red Fox Jack says, I met a babushka out in Russian drone with a jar of pickles back in 2022. One hell of one babushka told Russian soldiers to put sunflower seeds in his pocket. So when he died in Ukrainian soil, something more useful would than him would grow. Yeah, I remember those 2 stories. The Ukrainian babushkas are amazing. Next we have Am I the A-hole, AITA, for telling my wife to forget it and going out by myself for my birthday instead of going to her fancy dinner reservation. Apparently not the A-hole. This has been an ongoing issue. It came to a head yesterday. My wife is a planner and extremely hard for her. Just go with the flow. If we are going to do something, she needs all the details. She does have OCD. I forgot to include that, which is why she's such a planner. So that's a thing. A while ago, she asked what I wanted to do for my birthday, and I've been burnt out from work, so I told her I just wanted to go to a chain restaurant around here on my day, just a chill out night. I don't want to get dressed up or anything. She asked where and what time. I told her. I just pick a day off of I'll just pick an off day of what I'm feeling. Maybe I want to go to Olive Garden or get Chinese takeout. I expressed many times that I don't want to plan anything and just go with the day. Really, I just want to go eat what I was feeling that day. This week she asked what time. I told her when we both get home, so like 5 or 6 we can go out. She was frustrated. I was giving her an answer about where to eat and told her multiple times what I'm feeling that day. She asked if we need a reservation. I told her no multiple times. We'll be in a walk in on Wednesday to a chain restaurant. She asked if I wanted anything fancy. I told her no, I just want a simple night. Yesterday it was the issue. I wanted to go to Olive Garden, go home, get some breadsticks, and chill the rest of the night. I get home around 5 and my wife is all dressed up, and I asked why. And she said she made reservations for this fancy sushi place in the city. No, NTA, not the a-hole. You told her she wanted to go to Olive Garden and she's taken to a fancy sushi place that you got to drive to how many miles away, and you have to get dressed up. Absolutely not. She said it was a surprise and we need to leave in about 20 minutes. Nothing has sounded so unappealing to me in my life. I told her I wanted to go to Olive Garden. We got into an argument at how she spent all this effort to get a reservation. Well, you shouldn't have, because he said he didn't want that. I told her I didn't want any of this. At the end, I left to go to Olive Garden by myself. We got into another fight after I came back. Of course you did. Numerous Ben says, NTA, your wife didn't spend that effort for you. She spent it for herself. Yes. She knows that. She's just mad she didn't get away with it. She's 1,000,000% in the wrong. 100,000% in the wrong. National Board answers, I see this way too. On the upside, OP now knows exactly how to handle a birthday edit. Okay, wow. People need to chill a bit. I was going to say that I already explained in other comments that Opie's wife would like a fancy dinner out in the city with reservations and sushi. Girl wants to get dressed up and have a night out. Exactly. Eve Meaty says, breadsticks, baby. I really want some Pizza Hut breadsticks. Those are the best breadsticks, in my opinion, are Pizza Hut breadsticks. They open June 9th. They're having $2 large pizzas on June 9th. I think we're going to go get pizza and some breadsticks on June 9th. Husband doesn't know this yet. He might not be in town. I got to check something real quick. He may not even be in town that day because he is going somewhere next month. What's the calendar? That's not a real calendar. It doesn't have any holidays in it. Oh no, he'll be in town. He's not going till the next week, I believe. That's not what I wanted. Yeah. It's the next week. He's going the 20th and 21st. Preston Mom says, NTA, quote, we got into an argument how she spent all this effort to get a reservation. All this effort, she made a phone call. Exactly. You said what you wanted for your birthday, and she decided to ignore that and book something she wanted for your birthday. That is crappy. Ready situation answer. She probably meant the effort of making a plan, executing it, and then making herself look nice. All of which are really nice things to do for your partner if that's what OP wanted. OP could have dressed up anyway. My sister's up to something. My nephew's up to something. My great nephew's up to something. Illustrious Stage says, NTA, I'm a planner. Plans make me feel good, but my ex was not. And going with the flow made him happy. So on birthdays or events for him, that's exactly what we did. I tucked away, sometimes with difficulty, the planner side of me. And events and birthdays for me he made me a plan and tucked away his go with the flow personality, because the biggest thing is being heard and seen on your day. Yes, exactly. And I completely understand him, like, when I'm in the mood for that day. I might be in the mood for Chinese. I might be in the mood for Italian. I might be in the mood for different Italian, aka pizza. I might be in the mood for Mexican. I might be in the mood for a good steak. Just depends. I'm usually in the mood for a good steak. This is from I Don't Work Here Lady and is entitled Guy I cut off in traffic follows me to my job to try and get me fired. That's wild. I don't know how I never thought to share this one here before, but here goes. Last year I took a trip to New York in late January and had a very early flight back home to California. So even though I ate on the plane and all due to the time zone shifts, by the time I got home, I was still pretty hungry. And I'd been awake since 2 a.m. local time. Too tired to put anything together, so I ordered from my favorite pizza place and got in the car to go pick up my order, which is usually only a 10-minute drive each way. Yeah, that's what I would have done too. A couple blocks from the pizza place, there was some kind of weird obstruction in traffic. I tried to get a look at it, but genuinely couldn't tell what was going on. It seemed like either someone was pulled over or kind of beefing it by having their car halfway out in the street while parked by the curb. It seemed like it could have started moving again or not. I genuinely had no idea. All I knew was my lane wasn't moving at all at the moment, and I was hungry and tired, so I had to do something. Traffic in the next lane is moving pretty slowly due to people shifting from my blocked lane, so I figured I have an opportunity now. I look at my driver's side window to see a pickup that's kind of close, moving very slowly, so I flip my signal, and turn in. I thought I had the room to move in smoothly without problems, but the guy still had to brake fast and honked at me. And you know what? Fair. My bad. I misjudged it, but nobody was hurt. No accidents occurred. And within seconds, we were both moving along. I thought that was that. I get to the pizza place 2 minutes later and park and stop to check a message on my phone before getting out of the car. When I do, there's this angry man outside the front door of the shop who begins yelling at me. I see his truck parked in the same lot now, and I gotta say, do not know how they made pickup trucks that big, just the most massive vehicle I've ever seen that still somehow fit in a regular spot in a parking lot. I feel that way about the old Hummers. Those things are gigantic. How do you even maneuver those anywhere? In my travel-addled mind, it must have been as big as an actual truck that drags along a trailer. But this dude is going off, screaming his wanging head off about how I cut him off in traffic and making violent threats. And I'm tired and I don't know how to react to this because I'm not scared of him at the moment. I'm 6'5" and this dude is like 5'6" tops. He's compensating for something, clearly. Not necessarily that. It could just be his height. But my brain doesn't really know how to process him being all hyper and going, I'm out here killing MFers left and right. You don't even know. And again, I did cut him off. It was my bad. So I try to apologize. And then he's heading inside the pizza place. And internally, I'm like, what are the odds we're going to the same spot? Even with the way he's acting, I guess it's only fair I let him get his pizza first. That may calm him down. But when I step inside after him, he's yelling at the whole staff. And it takes a moment to process it all. But he's screaming at them about me, saying their delivery boy cut him off in traffic, blah, blah, blah. And y'all, the staff all wear normal restaurant clothes with the restaurant branded shirt. I'm a man in his 30s wearing a graphic tee, fire engine red suspenders, and a red newsboy hat that people constantly makes me look like Mario with my mustache. And then I finally do process and my mood changes a bit because one thing to yell at me for a wing up I made, even if the reaction is insanely disappropriate. But now I realize he's not an actual customer, but followed me here. And he's making all of these other folks uncomfortable. So now I get mad. I don't scream or anything, but I raise my voice and tell him firmly, I don't work here. And the guy turns to me for after a second and is stunned by this new information, but he manages to recover, stammering, well, you look like the kind of clown that would work here. And starts to raise his voice and is raving again. At this point, I couldn't even tell you what about. I have no clue how this is going to go. I've dealt with aggressive people before, but never on this level. This dude is winging unhinged, and part of me is beginning to worry that this is the kind of guy who might have a weapon on him. Luckily, 2 cops happened to be having lunch in the dining room and came to the front to see what all the commotion was about. They asked the staff if they wanted the guy to be there, and they said no. They forced him to leave. There was no arrest. I didn't have to give a statement or anything. But once the situation had calmed down, I started to get worried in the aftermath. I felt like there was a good chance that once I had my pizza and stepped outside, that guy would be waiting for me again. Thankfully, he was gone, which I could tell from the absence of his insanely large overcompensation mobile. As I got in my car and started for home, I found myself hoping that Nutjob does not have a family to bring all that anger home to. I got home enjoying my pizza, but I felt nervous for a few days, worried that if I ever came across that guy again. I haven't seen him or his oversized truck since, so I can only hope he was passing through town and doesn't really live here. Whatever the case, that was not the homecoming I was expecting after vacation. Sorry that happened to you. That really sucks. And no, you didn't delete it no matter what you did. It's stupid. OP answers the top-rated deleted comment. This is what I wear for a couple months in winter just to change things up. Most of the year, I'm in a big red floppy Panama hat, but I'll see about switching to Wario yellow as an intimidation tactic next time I get pizza. You just reminded me of a guy I used to work with. I'm 5'6", but the guy was like 2 to 3 inches shorter than I was. He also has a giant S truck whose wheels are bigger than he was. One day I was walking to lunch and see him sitting by the front seat looking like a small angry child. The giant parade comment is, I love to see Napoleon in the giant truck trope. It's always them starting crap, forgetting that they're not in their lifted truck anymore. My friend and I had a guy road rage at us in a parking lot and screamed to him to get out of the car. So he did, and once Napoleon realized he was picking a fight with a guy the size of an NFL guard, he got a lot more polite. Electrical Apple says, my nephew is 6'7", the size of an enraged grizzly bear. We were in my VW Beetle once when someone cut us off and then wanted to fight us at the light. My nephew got up and started unfolding himself. Crazy dude was so scared he ran the red light to get away from us. Oh, this is cute. Tough career says OP equals Mario equals Italian equals pizza. OP parks in front of pizza restaurant equals OP works at a pizza restaurant. Duh, that's some pretty sound logic. Train of thought there. I'm also 5'6" and I understand big truck man logic. Next we have from Overheard, entitled No, Tonya Harding. Our local toddler playtime this morning, a boy accidentally hit his mom in the kneecap with a racket. Mom, ow, kneecap, let's not do that again. Boy goes after mom again on purpose. Mom, no, Tonya Harding, we are done. I love it. That's awesome. Dream Music says Tonya Harding reference at toddler playground is unhinged and I'm here for it. Oh, hi, Bipolar says that's a good old reference one I actually get. Nerdy Comfort says I, Tonya was a great film. It was. It won awards. It was so good. Chaz Maxey says Tonya didn't do it. It's her crappy boyfriend, ex-husband, Jeff Galooly, who subcontracted another pair of winners, although it's not clear whether she was involved in the planning or not. Above ground pool queen says, "You're right. Mom should have said all of this." It's true. Tonya may or may not have been involved in that. Nobody knows for sure. Personally, her story does sound like something that could happen, and also something that she could be lying about. But she stuck with her guns this whole time, so I think she wasn't lying. It's been a while. I remember watching that happen. I am that old and I am a big figure skating fan, so Comfortable Sally is a second time break comment says, "Tell me you were a 90s kid without telling me you were a 90s kid." Um, Piscavore says, "I saved the newspaper for the day of my child's birth, which was the thing we did back in ancient times. Ask your grandma what a newspaper was. The neat thing was all over the front page. It was. It was a big thing. Figure skating became a big time for a little while. Better bowl better talk." It says, "I remember hearing jokes about a drink called a Tanya Harding Club soda on ice." That's actually funny. It says Tanya Harding jokes will never stop being watched here in the middle of a wholesome kid activity. Moms have the sharpest one-liners when they're in pain. I love it. Above ground pool queen says in another statement, "I really wish the sub had the option for GIFs. This one deserves a good Tanya Harding meme." Exactly. This is true off my chest. It is warned it's not safe for work due to suicide and self-harm. Just be forewarned if you're sensitive or if there may be other sensitive people in the area. It says, "My partner saved my life today and doesn't know it. I I was going to kill myself today. I was going to spend my workday carrying on normal routine while deciding how to do it with the least amount of collateral damage. Write my letter and be gone from the world. I'm at a point in my depression where the thoughts have completely consumed me and for reasons I won't go into. 8 a.m. came around and I usually call him to say good morning and just hear his voice. Normal routine I had to keep up. He made a remark about wanting to hear his voice, and I decided it was a fun moment to sing the alphabet, followed by, well, I think that covers most of the words. Ridiculous, I know, but he's a silly person. This is one of the 1,000 reasons I love him. The silly moment hit me hard. I thought to myself, okay, I can't do this to him. I went about my day desperately trying to shake off the intrusive thoughts. I get off work struggling not to know what I was going to do next. I had missed a call. I had a missed call. I thought, strange as I know he was at work and doesn't usually call me, I called back, and he exclaimed that he had a free moment and just wanted to call and tell me he loved me. We exchanged words and I left for the bathroom for a full-on meltdown. This is not something he does, not because he doesn't care, but because it's not his love language, it's mine. So I got off work and made him an Easter basket and brought all of his favorite things to grill, and now I'm sitting outside grilling dinner for him. For once in a long time, I can hear the birds, I can see the blue in the sky, and I can breathe. I don't know if the thoughts will be back or when they will be. This doesn't solve problems I desperately need to talk to through in therapy. But he has given me a reason to live, at least for today. Today I'm alive. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Just be alive today. And then tomorrow you can worry about tomorrow. And the fact that you can see the blue in the sky again is a good sign. Because depression actually affects your vision. And I know this because I've had it happen to me. I'm not a normally depressed person. I'm not clinically depressed, but everybody gets depressed. Everybody has things going on in their life that are sad, and you get depressed about it. And if you notice when you're feeling like that, it the world looks really gray. The world can look really, really gray. And you can't see the blue in the sky, it's gray. And you can't see the green in the trees, they're gray. When it's like that, you need to at least be aware of it. Whether you do something about it. I've never had to actually do something about it because it always turns around for me eventually. But if you're thinking of, if you get that way and you can't see the next thing to do, get help, please. Please get some help from some professional help. At least tell somebody in your family that you're feeling like this. You need to express this to your to your partner, LP. He has a right to know how you're feeling. And I know it has nothing to do with him. But he needs to know if something happens, why. One coyote is the top rate comment. They say, I'm a few days late to this, but somebody with bipolar 2 partner, thank you for staying. Just in January, my husband had a deep depressive episode and told me he didn't want to be here anymore. I raced home from work and we went to behavioral health walk-in. He's now doing well on medication and waiting for therapy referral. Please tell your partner how you're feeling and seek therapy. You belong here. Bubble Girly Pop says, the second type rate comment, no one has to tell you, but I think you should understand that your life is so precious. You're precious. We all deal with things we feel are too heavy to ever deal with that could never overcome the pain we had to endure. As a kid, I was taken away from my parents at 8 years old, getting molested in foster care. Now getting out of foster care, 14 years old, finally feeling relief, but no. Getting raped by my mom's boyfriend, not her not trusting me. So I was homeless after I told her. 15, he raped me for 2 years. Now I'm 24, I feel content through all I've been through, hell, and I have the ability to overcome. We are fighters who fight and fight and fight until we feel better. You will fight until you feel better. I'm rooting for you. Seeking Man is a perfect leaf for Easter. This man is a thoroughly good egg. Yeah, you have good person. Lean in on that. Next is, what do? I think I'm about to get fired from my job. Or contacts my boss suddenly cut down my hours at work to 1 day a week this week. I didn't think much about it since EMS can be unpredictable like that. Our dispatcher contacted me and asked if I could come to work unexpectedly, so I agreed to come in after a few scheduled appointments. I texted before I agreed time and after I got wishy-washy answer from dispatch asking about my boss. I went in and asked him myself since it's been multiple hours since I agreed time. He sent this as a reply with nothing else and didn't get explicit. As I was hoping we would get someone else, but no one replied back. So his boss didn't want him to come in. My dad thinks I'm getting fired. My mom thinks he's trying to phase me out. My cousin is suspicious. My dad thinks my scheduled day tomorrow actually going to be him firing me. He thinks I shouldn't even show up, even though I feel like I should. Yes, you should. You should. What do I do? Not showing up for work should never be an option. It's ridiculous. Stop doing that. Does this sound like a setup for getting fired? Edit. Currently at work. Let y'all know what happens. Edit 2. Yes, I went to work as originally a fan of full intentions of going to work, and I did not get fired. Good. Maybe he just didn't want you to work 2 shifts in a row. Phantom says, stop reading comment. He says, don't act on a made-up thought. If you don't go in tomorrow, you're basically quitting and surely getting fired. If you do go in tomorrow, maybe you'll get fired, maybe you won't. Fine. Go find out. Yes, exactly. Rayton News says, if you're getting fired, the best thing is to go in and get fired, not going to say you quit, and then you might not get unemployment. Mr. Psychic says, always make them fire you. They never want to, and it's so much easier for them if you quit on your own. Yeah. Anna later says, so is that yes or no? Like winging answer the question. And we have another not safe for work one. This is from Entitled Parents, and it is entitled, apparently it's my fault the supermarket sells condoms. I've never been at a supermarket that doesn't sell condoms. Where do you live that this would be a surprising turn of events? I work in a cashier in a small supermarket. Tonight I was working evening shift and it was just me and one other coworker on shift. A woman came in with her young daughter, and when they came over to pay, she started complaining to me that her daughter asked where the condom was when she saw them in the aisle. So don't take her down that aisle, ma'am. If you don't want questions from little kids, don't take them down that aisle. She yelled at me that it was inappropriate and we should sell products like that in normal shops where kids couldn't see them, and that I should be ashamed of myself. I told her it was her responsibility not to let her daughter see things that she doesn't want her to see. Exactly. She continued to complain at me because she needed to go down that aisle, and her kids shouldn't have to see those things. And I just told her that's what the shop sells, had nothing to do with me. She just glared at me while I scanned her shopping and then stormed out. Do not work in customer service. You have to deal with really insane people. Oh, people who just don't know how to live in normal society. All she has to say if she doesn't want to really explain it is those are for grown-ups. Like booze is for grown-ups. Those are for grown-ups. Trying to be good says sounds like a condom would have solved this problem. Freon says I would have said this and got fired over it too. Lousy brat. Edit the mom, not the kid. The kid's innocent here. Trying to be good answer. Kid is quoted. Kid is innocent here. Apparently not anymore. Type being is the second type rated comment, and she says, as a person who used condoms, thank you for making that possible. Exactly. Stopwatch is the third top rated comment, and he says, next time ignore the parent, tell the kids a special balloon that helps the mommy keep from having a baby. Then tell the parent there that wasn't difficult. Yes, I'm a jerk sometimes. Different term says if your grandparents used one, you wouldn't have to deal with this insanity. Next we have no consequences. From adultery, hate. And originally titled, I like how her husband just going scorched earth. I'll share this just because it'll be easier for me to read it on the screen. Long time lurker here, first time poster. I'm mid-33s MW. I've been crashing here at my sister's since yesterday because I'm afraid to go home. I used to think that being caught in the act was the worst way this could end, but it's way much worse. I've been married to my significant other since 2014. It was good, but I knew early on I had to get my needs elsewhere. It was all good until yesterday. I started feeling getting angry messages from affair partner about how I ratted them out, and they got exposed by my husband. Their families and work and friends all know about our affairs together. Not all of them, but close to half the lovers I've had over the years. I did not know until the AP's message, affair partners messaged me. Now he knows, and I know why he wouldn't walk to me first. 3 lives and families got destroyed yesterday, and I'm just waiting until the mine's next. I'm sobbing from guilt as I write this. I wish I could go back in time and stop myself from doing any of this. Why would he go to them and not his wife? Why did he expose all of them and not me? I just don't know. Seems like a weird situation. Gamer Girl X is the mod and says, we've now caught 3 people brigading the original sum. This post is 5 years old and they were just now commenting. They've all been banned. Anyone else caught will be too. We're not losing the sub to people who can't follow simple rules. Thank you to the people who reported that. Make it 4 people. The other subreddit is now branding brigaders too, so for 2 for 1 special. I would go and read, but I wouldn't comment. Painted Doll says, why did he expose them and not me? Ma'am, he did. He exposed the guy screwing his wife. He exposed his wife to being screwed by those guys. How did you not get that? Ronan says, what she really means to say is, why did he not very privately 2-card me so that if I personally chose to promote an affair partner to the second husband in the future, I could just say my first marriage ended because we were incompatible. Someone else besides me doesn't know what 2-card means. It means you show your maybe ex-spouse 2 cards, one for couples counselor and one for divorce. You readily act on both to the point where you've got divorce papers drawn, signed, and an appointment with a therapist. All they have to do is pick. Oh, that makes sense. Makes lots of sense. Riz Sig says his side of the story is the bull I would kill for. Yeah, no kidding. Eat This Crap says he only knew half of her lovers, at least at the time of the post. I wonder what the whole cesspool of her cheating ever fully opened. Lady Silvershade says sobbing, quote, sobbing from guilt. She's sobbing because she got caught, and the people know she's a filthy, selfish liar. Exactly. Finally infuriating. PSA, I did not get front row seats to the Michael movie, or any movie really, especially if it's on IMAX. At least I know Michael's nose job looked like, I guess. It's very terrible. That just looks bad. I don't know. Is it AI? I don't know. Is it? Anyone know? Medea Jackson strikes again. They're all just bad memes of bad, very jaw-y people. Wang Yu Karen and her Yelp review. Coffee dose sign. Coffee dose says, we survived the pandemic. We'll survive your crappy Yelp review. Next, we have, am I overreacting? My manager keeps questioning my feeding pump at work, even after HR stepped in. That says, I want to follow up regarding recent discussions about interruptions during shifts. I understand that HR has reviewed your situation and confirmed your accommodation. I am not questioning that. However, I do want to reiterate that frequent disruptions on the floor can impact team workflow and concentration especially during peak periods. I recognize this may be outside of what can be formally adjusted through HR. Yeah, because she's already been to HR and they told you go shove off. I would still ask that you remain mindful as possible about the timing and visibility of equipment in use so that interruptions to others are kept at a minimum. By just seeing something interrupt anyone. This is not meant to be a criticism, but rather a request to consider how this affects the broader team environment. I posted last week about issues with my feeding pump at work, and my manager sending a passive-aggressive email about disruptions. HR got involved and were actually supported. They confirmed my medical accommodation is valid, and basically I'm not doing anything wrong. They said they talked to my manager and everything was fine until today. Take this directly to HR. This goes directly to HR because they've already addressed this. I thought it would be the end of it, but honestly now there's been another development and I feel kind of embarrassed and unsure if I should escalate again or just drop it and stop being so overdramatic about this whole thing. No, because you're going to protect somebody else in the long run. Since the first issue, my manager has been acting kind of off. He made a few comments about me stepping away and once even asked me to explain how my feeding pump works, which is a bit condescending, felt a bit condescending, but I tried to brush it off. It wasn't anything overly rude and I could work around it, so I didn't care that much. Then today he sent another email directly to me and I attached it so everybody can read it without me having to explain. It felt weird and just like he was crossing a boundary, like he's acknowledging I'm allowed to have the accommodation, but also implying I shouldn't be using it in a way that affects anyone else at all, which it isn't. My coworkers have reassured me they aren't bothered and don't care in the slightest. Somebody is. Somebody's bothered. Maybe it's the manager, maybe it's somebody else. HR already said everything is fine on there, and so I don't know what to do now. I don't know what to do I don't know if I'm being too insensitive or if this is actually still worth bringing up again. I don't want to create any drama or risk my job because this truly is a job I enjoy, but I just feel kind of awkward and signaled out at this point. I'm unsure if escalating it to HR again is the right decision. Edit number 1, this is not a breastfeeding pump. I need a feeding pump, which is a tube going right into my stomach to feed me. It has to be connected 20 hours a day. Rose of July's top rate comment, and they have it right. Forward it to HR and let them handle it. He is swimming in very dangerous territory. This text very plainly trying to ask you to go around the accommodations without going around the accommodations. And he's opening your company up to legal action by doing so. Forward it to HR and let them know that he is still making comments and asking you inappropriate questions about your health condition and medical equipment. And he sent this, let them handle it. You are not being too sensitive. You're not being overly dramatic. He's overstepping in a busy way. If anything, you're underreacting. Michael Francisca answers, I thought the same thing. The manager's playing with fire. We all know HR is there to protect the company, but this is one of the rare situations where it will work in the employee's favor. All Systems Critical says protecting the company includes firing managers who open the company up to lawsuits. Yes. The Jankster is the second top rate comment, and he says, NOR, this feels like passive aggressive pushback against a medical accommodation. That's something HR needs to see. Opie says, at this point, I feel like I'm being a nuisance. I've had 0 issues over the years I've worked here, and now I'm going to HR twice in under 2 weeks. Gloom Champion says, they'd rather hear from you than your attorney. Make sure you keep documentation of everything. No, this should go straight to HR. He's trying to skirt HR. Stunning Flamingo says, you're not risking your job. Your manager is risking his. Lower group says you forward it to HR. Bottle of Shampoo answers, this right here, HR has gotten involved. It means you loop them in and let them handle it every time. Beginning month answers, joining this convo to say BCC yourself on every single email. If something happens and you get fired, you immediately lose all emails and documents. It sucks, but it should assume the worst. My sister was harassed and intimidated and bullied for months at a job. When she finally quit, they just said, you're all good, don't worry about finishing your 2 weeks, and she lost everything. Email exchanges that were derogatory, attachments that were important for a sexual assault situation, how they handled very vandalism, etc. She told me no when X mail was sent, etc., because that doesn't stand up in court or to the BBB or whatever. Keep your own records from when this horrific manager takes it too far. Good advice. Backups, documentation, and backup documentation. Next, we have best of editor updates in there, and it is entitled AITA for leaving my boyfriend's birthday dinner after his mom took my seat. I hate it when people steal his seats. This is originally from AITA WIBTA Public. Original post April 18th, 2025. AITA for leaving my boyfriend's birthday dinner after his mom took my seat as a joke. I, 25 female, have been dating my boyfriend Matt, 27 male, for almost 2 years. His family is very close. His mom in particular has always been a little possessive. I try not to make a big deal out of it, but it's clear she doesn't like that I take up his time. And she's made passive-aggressive comments like, I hope I don't lose my son to some girl. Ma'am, if you lose your son to some girl, it's on you. Even though we've been together for a while and I made every effort to be kind and respect her. Time to stop. Anyway, last weekend was Matt's birthday. He invited me to dinner with his family at a nice restaurant. I dressed up and got him a gift I knew he'd love. I was honestly looking forward to the night. When we arrived, I noticed his mom had saved a seat right next to herself. That's fine, whatever. I sat on his other side. But right before we ordered, his mom made a joke about how it doesn't need to be sat next to Matt. It says, let's see how you handle a little separation. And she literally stood up, looked at me, and said, scooch, sweetie, motioned me to move down a seat so she could sit between us. Everyone at the table laughed, Matt included. I was stunned. I just quickly got up and moved. For about 5 minutes, I sat there feeling small and humiliated while she leaned over Matt like he was her date. So I stood up, grabbed my bag, and said, "Actually, I think I'm going to head out. I hope you have a great birthday, Matt," and I left. Matt blew up my phone later saying I completely overreacted and embarrassed him in front of his family. No, your mother embarrassed you in front of your family. And can't take a joke. It's not funny. Am I laughing? It wasn't a joke. His mom texted saying, "Sorry you were so sensitive," message, which made it worse. Now he's not speaking to me until I apologize. I'm not apologizing for somebody else being rude. I honestly feel like they were the rude ones. But it was his birthday dinner, so now I'm second guessing everything. AITA. Bodacious Vermin said, "Sorry you were so sensitive. That says it all, at least to me. She didn't acknowledge doing anything wrong. It's too bad that your boyfriend isn't looking out for you." I smell smoke. Somebody's having a fire. Something's on fire. The neighbor's probably just having a bonfire. OP says, "Yes, it's actually crazy. She still hasn't spoken to me. It's been like 2 days. I'm going to just drop things off at his house um, and this is the end of this relationship." Wow. That might be overreacting. I'm not sure. Mermaid Toe says, "NTA, have you ever talked to your boyfriend about his mother's behavior? If not, you may see this pettiness on her part as a one-off. However, it doesn't fully excuse his reaction. Don't apologize to anyone. If you want to keep seeing your boyfriend, then talk to him about his mother, if he's receptive at all. It might be worth the working things out. If he's refusing to hear or accept anything about his mother's behavior, might be able to reconsider the relationship." OP says, "Yes, it's been a history of her doing petty stuff like this." I don't know how that fire is so big. But it's coming in through my one little tiny window in here. It's way stronger than a couple years ago when we had Canada wildfires going on. Update the next day. I dropped off his stuff and he tried to talk to me and was basically saying like his mom didn't mean anything. Any harm was a joke and telling me to chill out and I'm being dramatic. I told him to go date his mom since she's perfect and y'all understand each other's humor. The top rated comment says his mom will ruin every last relationship he ever gets. Especially if she's going to be like that. Rabbity Girl answers, "Until he gets to the age where she's like, wow, where are my grandbabies? And can't understand why no woman wants her perfect angel." Big old nerd says, quoted, "I told him to go date his mother." And said she's not wrong here. Rainbow Cardigan says 100% that ma'am is incestuous AF. Forgiveness Mad says 27 is old enough to know the cord should have been cut long before this. Exactly. This is made me smile. A young girl in Cameroon reached out for a hug from the Pope and received it. That's nice. I can't see over the top of my laptop for this. I also don't know why it's not anymore. Like half of it was cut off. You just see like that part of it. That part. It was really weird for a second there. Oh, that's sweet. He's a decent Pope. I'm not a Pope person, but he seems like an okay guy. That's nice. Can you imagine the presidents doing that? I was on social media last week, earlier this week or late last week, And somebody said something about the presidents and somebody corrected them. It's just like, you idiot. You're not gonna joke. Oh, what's this? It's very pretty. What is that? Oh, it's in Romania. Romania. I'll have to show you. This is my screen right now. Get it back over here. Isn't it pretty? It's beautiful. I like it. Almost as much as a horsies the other day. All right, that's all I got for now. I will be here tomorrow, but after tomorrow, I won't be here on Fridays. I'm taking long weekends, 4-day weekends. Taking 4-day weekends. Gotta get some stuff done in this house. So, take care. Love all my biddies. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow. Love you all. Bye. Bye, biddies. Bye.